Welcome
I
back,
guess.
everyone, to Football No Filter. I am your host, Ubrun Krak, and I am here with my two companions of corruption.
Corruption. Isa só para norte.
So I'll start with George. George, how are you, George?
I'm doing well. What about everybody else? How you
Epá,
guys
aqui,
doing?
olha. And Mr. Nelson, como é que andas?
I'm very good, ladies and germs. I'm very, very good.
Okay, very good. So we're all we're actually eating all at once. I don't know. Nelson might be smoking some cigars. I don't know. He might be
I'm
having dessert.
I'm working.
Oh, he's working. Okay,
Having
so
a
we're
virtual dinner.
look at that. You see this? This is the type of
Commitment.
commitment that you get from a guy that even during his work hours he comes on the podcast to help out.
I also watch movies during work hours. So yes,
Oh, you do? Okay,
yeah, it's definitely commitment.
got it. All right, so we're gonna look into the schedule for this week. It was a very entertaining and controversial week. So we're gonna start round two. Estoril 0, Guimarães 0, Vizela 2, Tondela 1. Vizela came back and beat Tondela. Benfica 2, Oroca 0. Braga 1, Sporting 2. Portimonense 0, Gil Vicente 1. Famalicão 1, Porto 2. Santa Clara Moreirense tied 2-2. Boa Vista 3, Paços Ferreira 0. Belenenses 1, Marítimo 2. Marítimo with a road win. Table looks Sporting, Gil Vicente, Benfica, and Porto all with 6 points. Estoril with 4. Braga, Boa Vista, Vizela, Tondela, Portimonense, Marítimo, and Paços Ferreira 3. Moreirense, Santa Clara, Guimarães 1. Belenenses, Famalicão, and Aroca 0 points. I'll start with you, George. Anything that you see out of the ordinary from the non top three? Anything that you see that you're like, hey, wow, this is it's starting to get a little interesting early on.
Let's see. No, I mean the Guimarães. The two losses in Guimarães. I think that's surprising. But Santa Clara. Santa Clara is in 15th place. Hey, but it's a little bit too early. To be honest, it's just
I want to touch
it's
on that. I,
just
I
too
want
early.
to I want to touch on that Guimarães. Now, Nelson, have you been able to watch the Guimarães so far?
I have not, but I mean, I know you mentioned last week that they play good and they still lost, but I mean, two losses already. Like it's not looking good.
No, one draw, one draw.
One draw. That's right. One loss, one draw. I'm saying that's not looking good.
Well, again, against Studio on the road, they did an excellent job moving the ball. They created chances to score. This team is definitely screaming for a striker. They need a striker, but they play very attractive soccer. If you guys get a chance to watch, please do
We
because
got
it's
we got 7. We'll sell one for 50 million.
They don't want
They need a loan.
they don't want Sporar.
Hey, he would help out immensely on this team.
I heard Sporar is out to. Where is he supposed to be going? He's supposed to be going
He was supposed to
to
be sold to Feyenoord, wasn't he?
something like that. Yeah.
Maybe Cavani. Like I don't know. Like he's not playing at Benfica, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. We're waiting until his glory days, like 41, 42.
So they should they should get where. I mean,
Well, maybe Acosta can come back from retirement.
maybe.
Jensen, maybe.
Well, Liadson.
I'm just saying because you mentioned that's 2 straight weeks that you mentioned that they play real good and yet they got 1 point. So
I mean, Nelson, I really invite you to watch their highlights. You see the way they move the ball, and they just can't score.
I believe it. I mean, listen. I totally get it. I was gonna say. I mean, we'll get to touch on that game soon, but I'm saying Benfica struggles to score too. Like
We're talking about Benfica struggles to score. Are you out of your damn mind? What are you watching? Watching futsal or something?
Are you
What's wrong
kidding
with you?
Your forwards are whatever. I mean, I'm just saying we'll get there.
Don't get there. All right.
I don't want to get mad.
Well, 0 points, George. Your ex-player Petit, a guy that has an impeccable record against Benfica.
No, as long as we keep beating them and he keeps getting good scores against Sporting and Porto, is okay. He could stay there.
He could
But
stay
then,
there always, right?
Vitalício, contact Vitalício.
They're struggling right now. 0 points, 2 losses, a big loss at home. Tell me a little bit about. I mean, have you seen the way they play?
I saw a little bit of the game, but look, I think it's a lot of these teams, they get a lot of
Loans.
what's the word? Not loans. Yeah, they get a lot of new players. They lose a lot of players. They get a lot of new players and stuff like that. And a month is just not enough. You know what I mean? A month and a half. That's just not enough for them to gel. So I really don't take into consideration, these first 5, 6, 7 games. It's especially for the smaller teams. For the smaller teams, it's it is what it is. It takes time for them to build that camaraderie and know exactly where. Look, I'll use Benfica for an example. You look at Benfica and it's a much different team than last year. Yeah, we have a couple of pieces that are different also that make the team play a little bit different. But you could tell that the players that came last year, they're more comfortable within the Jorge Jesus schemes and all that good stuff. It just takes time. Hopefully, these coaches won't get fired. We don't start getting start mirroring Brazil and how they treat their coaches there, where there's 1 or 2 losses and they get fired right away. But hopefully, they got a little bit of time.
Nelson, anything that you were concerned about with Vitória? I mean, with Bulinen. Sorry.
No, I mean, just like George mentioned, I think it's still early. But I mean, if we 3 weeks from now are discussing the same thing, then I will start worrying about those teams.
Okay.
So they don't turn around in the next 2-3 weeks.
If you guys haven't looked at their roster is basically a third division all-star team. That's basically what it is.
Yep.
We got a lot of players from the third division. All right, we're gonna move into the games. Sporting Braga Sporting. I think I called the game. It was 2-1. Mateus, Raul, Turmena, and Oliveira.
I thought I called it. I think I called it.
Oh, you did it? Okay. Francesio Galeno, Piazon, Ruiz, and Fábio Martins. For Sporting, Adan, Inácio, Coates, Pedal, Esgaio, Palhinha, Luiz, Vinagre, Cabral, Paulinho, and Gonçalves. Mr. Nelson, talk us through the first half. Did you like what you saw?
Listen, I was pretty comfortable in the game. I thought Sporting was controlling the game. Where's everybody? Everybody left me to talk alone?
I'm here, bud.
Oh, okay. George left. I think Sporting was controlling the game. I not once during the first half or in the second half until Mateus Reis got thrown out. Until then, I was not worried at all. I thought Sporting had the game under control. We were up to nothing. I was enjoying what I was watching. And then the guy gets thrown out, and we ended up suffering on a game that we had no reason to suffer. Adan had a couple big saves. There's a questionable call. I mean, they've changed the rules so many times. I don't know what's a penalty anymore. I don't know what's not a penalty anymore. If it was called a penalty, I would have no problem with that. But if that was a penalty, then I remember a couple of years ago, a game at Benfica, there was 3 of those, and none of them were called penalties. So I don't know what the penalty is anymore, or it's not. But I mean, it's a shame. The kid came in and he got thrown out in a few minutes, and he put the game in jeopardy. A game that we had completely under control and had no reason to suffer. So definitely did not enjoy that. That's the only thing I did not enjoy. Other than that, I mean, I think the team is well together. I think they play good. I mean, Potts showing everybody what he can do. I'm glad the newspapers just talk about João Mario. Let him. I don't want him in the national team. Keep him off the national team. Let him rest. And the guy just keeps scoring. Always nice goals. and the team is playing real good, man. I enjoy what I watch, except for what happened with the red card.
George, did you like Sporting Braga? Or if you were a Braga fan, are you concerned about your B team?
No, I mean I'm my B team. Yeah, right. No, I'm concerned that they can't play against top tier teams. But it's I think it's contrary to what Nelson said. That it was a comfortable game. I mean, you look at the stats, and that's not what the stats state. The stats states that Braga had more ball possession, had more shots, a lot more shots on net. They just couldn't score. Again, I think early in the season, I think it's just cementing the fact that one of Sporting's at least the last 10, 15 years, one of their best pickups last year was Adan, and he looks like he's still in the same form that he was last year. But again, you look at all the stats, and all the stats are in Braga's favor by a lot. But they can't finalize. They can't finalize, and they seem not to be able to. Even when they play Sporting, usually against Sporting, it's usually the same story. The storyline is pretty much the same. You look at the stats; they're on top of every stat that you can look at. But then you look at the scorecard and a scoreboard, and they always end up losing. Yeah, but it's a good win for Sporting in what I still consider a difficult deslocação from Portugal.
It is definitely one of the toughest places to play for most clubs. I won't say all clubs, but most clubs. Right, Nelson? Most clubs?
Yeah, most clubs. I think all but one in the first division.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you did touch up on Nelson on the penalty, or potential penalty. You don't think it's a penalty, correct?
I don't think it is, but if it was called, I'd be okay with it. But apparently, if the ball bounces off a knee, off a stomach, or whatever, it's not a penalty. I mean, so I don't know anymore. I don't know what a penalty is anymore.
Okay, George, same.
What do you mean if the ball jumps off the stomach?
If the ball hits the knee,
off a body part and into the arm.
But that's the new rule now, right? For already since last year. That's what I'm saying. It's a PK.
So it's not a penalty.
That it's a PK. The new rule now is that it is a PK.
I don't think so. I don't know the rule anymore. I'm telling you, I just don't know the rule anymore. It's they keep changing these rules, and it's like I just don't know anymore. I mean, you guys had 3 a couple of years ago in your stadium. None of them were called. So I mean,
that I just told you that it was a new rule.
Oh, they changed after that game.
Oh, they changed it 2 years ago. Last year, at the beginning of last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, first they had to get 3 of them in your area, and then we'll change the rule.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nelson, another question: Do you agree the justification of red carding Matheus Reis?
I mean, one of them might have been a little too tough, but yeah, you cannot come in and make tackles like that. Like
the second yellow card is a straight red in my book. Not because it's a Sporting player. I think it's a straight red. He lifts up his foot purposely and he hits him right in the ankle. For me, it's a straight red card. If you look at the rules, it's a straight red.
I just said he got thrown out. I'm okay with that. I just think he put the game in jeopardy when the game was under control. And that's what sucks.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think it was a justified win for Sporting. Braga is a pretender. I'll repeat that again. Pretender, not a contender. They'll finish in the top 5. If they sell Ricardo Horta, they'll finish somewhere between 5th and 7th place.
I agree.
I said my piece.
That's
I think and Fabio Martins, a good game by Fabio Martins, I thought.
Other than the Rabona shot, they really didn't do much. Actually, had a
I think
couple
a
of
good
them.
game.
They
Yeah.
was all right, but all right,
But then, but another Braga team that lost a lot of players, right?
they
So
did.
you know,
They lost Fran Sergio, which was the motor of the midfield. They, the defense they lost Scaio. Um, they've lost a couple of other players. They're getting Yuri
Scorar.
Medeiros back, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. I think Yuri Medeiros is a good player. Let's see how he is after the knee issue. The knee issue is going to be a problem. All right,
yeah.
let's move forward. Benfica 2, Roca 0. It was Lacodimos Jr., Otamendi, Morata, Diaz, Pizzi, Mete, Mario, Everton, Yarmchuk, Waldschmidt. For Aroca, it was Braga, Taos, Basso, Velasquez, Quaresma, Valderrama, Silva, Moreira, Bukia, André, and Arsenio. George, take us through to this game. Were you satisfied or not with the production of Benfica?
No, I was satisfied with the play. I mean, it's kind of a hard analysis to make when the other team gets red carded right off the bat. But I would like to see a game 11-11 and see how Benfica played. I still think Benfica would have won and would have won easily, maybe easier than playing against 10. Benfica has shown in the past that they can't play against 10. They just don't know how to occupy the space. The example of the Porto games last year, I think we out of 3 games or whatever, we played two, over 50 or 60 minutes against 10, and we still lost both games. So I thought it was a good game. 17 shots on net. I think we have a really good forward. I think this kid is going to do really well at Benfica. I think it's a red card. I think the red card is the right call. A lot of people might not like it, but it was a stupid mistake by the keeper, and the keeper in trying to remediar committed a stupid foul that caused the card. But it's Benfica missed a lot of goals, a lot of opportunities, a lot of you know shots that they should have finished. But not a lot to say about the game. It really, it doesn't really. You can't. I can't really analyze a game like this when you're playing against 10 for 80 minutes or whatever it was. Just that we lost a lot of games, and the shots that we had on net, we should have had those amount of shots even if we played against 11. Against 10 is even easier to have those shots. And the 2 goals, the same thing. Playing against 10, against 11, we should have still won by 2 or 3. Against 10, it's almost like you have to. You know what I mean? So that's my interpretation of the game.
It's a fair interpretation. Mr. Litra.
I don't
You know
know.
that
I don't know if you guys know this, but fun fact: Iramanchuk, or whatever his name is, when he was a little kid, like he dreamed of being an astronaut, and because one day, like he planned to visit Uranus. That's what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, but he ended up being a soccer player. About the game, listen. About the game. I mean, of course, that red card changes everything. At the same time, I don't think he would have. I still think Benfica would have won. However, I disagree with George. I mean, listen, it's a completely dumb play by the goalie. I don't know why he puts the ball down and he throws it forward. I don't know why he did any of that. It's a completely dumb play. But at the same time, when you go back and watch it again, the referee has his hand up like he's calling a foul, which automatically everywhere in the world that's the call for a foul. The referee puts his hand up, he's calling a foul. So once he released the ball, he thought the ref called a foul. He released it so he could do a free kick. So I think it's a horrible call by the ref. There might have even been offside on the play to begin with, but somehow, like when you have Benfica TV and you got to pay for the game, and you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that, for the guys filming all this shit. You don't have time for the lines. So these guys barely show the lines. They only show the offside lines 18,000 times when he favors Benfica. When he favors another team or it's questionable, they never show it. Like I say, I still think.
But Nelson, our lines don't count. The lines that count are the ones that at what's it called?
But they never get shown. I'm not making this up. They barely get shown when Benfica plays home, and I don't understand that. How come they get shown on the other games? Just doesn't make. We can talk about that in a little while. Now, George, like we were joking around before when I said that Benfica struggles to score prior to coming on, but George just mentioned 17 shots on goal. They scored 2 goals against that teams. Benfica is still missing a lot of goals, a lot of chances. Benfica could have scored 6, 7, but they didn't. They scored 2. I still think there's something there. I still think Benfica up front, they can have all these forwards. They still not finalizing. And I mean, simple as that. But, that game was done once that guy got thrown out. I think it was done prior to that. But after that, forget it. It was just a one-way street. And Benfica won. I mean, I just don't like the call.
Well, we got Captain that said something here that is interesting. He didn't call a foul. He put his thumbs up. It's clear as water. I kind of have to agree with him, Nelson, that he did wave off the linesman.
He did it twice. Like, I think he used the other hand to wave him. It was so weird the way. I mean, go ahead, Brian.
Here's the problem. You know what else? And here's the problem. The problem is it's the same referee that's always making consistent bad calls, which is Mota. Mota is horrible as a referee, and this proves another game proves that he's just bad. He's a terrible VAR, and he's a worse referee.
Look, I'm looking at the play right now, right? And you guys are the only, or Nelson is the only guy that finds a problem with his hand being up or whatever. I'm looking at the play. As soon as the keeper throws the ball on the floor, there's a player an Arouca player that's running behind the referee from the midfield and is running towards the ball because he's like, oh shit. This goalie just made a mistake.
Not right away.
I'm watching it right now, Nelson.
Okay, watch it again.
Just go on. I am.
You're probably watching it on Benfica TV, which has been edited already.
No, I'm not watching it on Benfica TV. I'm watching it on YouTube.
All I'm saying is that guy doesn't start running right away. He pauses for like a second. He sees that
runs right away.
He sees that nobody goes to the ball, and then he goes after.
Exactly.
All right,
but he's like 20 yards. He's 20 yards away from the ball.
But the other guys didn't move either. There was a defender.
Yeah, but he's closest to the referee. If anybody heard a whistle or whatever, it would have been him.
So you don't think it's questionable at all? You don't think
No. When you start playing soccer and you're 2 years old, the first thing they teach you is you don't hear the whistle, you play on.
You play to the whistle.
Listen, I agree. I told you it was a dumb play by the goalie.
No, but in one hand you say it's a dumb play by the goalie, but then in the other hand you're criticizing the lines and you criticize Bruno's criticizing the referee that he's always the one that makes the same mistakes, and Utai Dil is the one that gets all bombarded by super dragões and stuff like that. It's either a red card or it's not a red card, and it's clear that it's a red card.
Oh, it's a red card. I'm not denying the red card. I mean, the guy is just horrible.
I'm stating a fact, George. I
think he's a bad referee, but he's a bad referee in all the games. It's not only the Benfica games. It's just he just shouldn't be a referee.
Hold on a second. I didn't say he was a bad referee.
Every time you say Mott and stuff like that, it's Mott.
No, he's a bad referee.
O Ferrari Vermelho, são todos.
Não. O Ferrari Vermelho é diferente. Agora, this guy across the board, he's a terrible referee.
Isto é uma moto vermelha, não é um Ferrari, é uma moto, caraças.
É a moto vermelha do Ilusão.
Why do you think that his talho is always getting destroyed? It's because
it's always getting destroyed by the same people.
I thought, but it's always he's making bad calls consistently over and over and over again. Like it's just nauseating. And my question is, How is this guy still in the first division? How does he not drop? That's my question. How does he not drop it? This is crazy.
Yeah, I remember. I remember Porto Passos Ferreira, where Porto won the championship a few years ago on a penalty kick from outside a penalty and a red card outside the box, the Passos Ferreira box, and wasn't he the referee?
I don't remember if he was or not.
Of course he wouldn't.
I don't remember who it was. I think you're talking about over 10 years ago.
No, yeah, no, the one, no, the game, it was the year that the next season, Passos Ferreira played in the ground for the UEFA games.
Yeah, but there was other calls that were not.
Mas nós não estamos a falar desses calls, não estamos a falar deste, nós estamos a falar deste, nós estamos a falar deste, que foi logo também aos 10 minutos ou 15 minutos, que o homem do talho, que o talho está sempre a ser arrebentado, e não é por estes. É pelos outros.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You gotta.
But he's a ref. He's a bad referee.
Piddle.
He shouldn't ref.
Horrible. I'm sorry. Once again, I think Benfica would have won no matter what. So you would have got the 3 points. Listen, the moment he raises his arm, he confused the fucking goalie completely.
I think it would. I really think Benfica would have an easier time with 11 than against 10.
I mean, you had 17 shots. How many more you would have had? 24? You can't score. I keep telling you this. You're the one who thinks you have no issue scoring.
I don't think we have. We've scored in all the games, right? We scored in all the games. We've scored. I mean, we scored against Spartak. Spartak, we scored 2 in each game or whatever. We scored now against a team that everybody was saying. You were saying that we were going to get blown out in the first game.
I never said that.
Scored. We won. We were winning 2-0 and could have pretty much put the eliminatory away if it wasn't for a rebound, not a rebound, but a deflection.
By the way,
I think we can't score. We can't win 4-5-6-0 every game.
I picked you guys to win against PSV in the last show, just so you know.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anybody say that Benfica was going to win against PSV.
All of us did. I think all of us did.
I don't know about that.
Actually, Nelson, I got to tell you something. I don't know if you saw at Stade de Luz at the PSV game that the finals are already set up for Champions League. It's going to be Benfica against PSG.
Wow,
that's a freaking like a 12-year-old kid, dude, with a cartaz. Come on, give me a break, dude.
Well, then the kid is dumb, and that kid is always going to be dumb, and his parents are dumber. It's a dumb family. Sorry. I mean, I had to say. Listen, when my kid does something stupid, I call him stupid right away so that he knows that he's stupid. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Let the kids grow up stupid? No. You got to correct them when they're young.
Then who smacked you around when you're rooting for a team that wins the championship every 20 years? Tu teu pai também está com a couple of garrafas que ele tinha no carro. Sportingista,
what about the years that Porto won that I was rooting for them? Those don't count?
Yeah, of course.
Yo, George, don't you get it? He wins every year.
I win every year. You guys are the ones that fucking get upset. I win every single year.
Very true. Very true.
Tem 45 campeonatos seguidos, caralho.
Let's
I know, but you should read the last comment that we had from Carlos. I think it's a very valid.
Nelson talking about Benfica strikers. How many goals Sporting strikers have goals?
Is Plot a striker?
I mean, it depends. He's an attacking player.
Okay, but he's not a striker.
No,
he's not a striker, but
he's not.
He's a winger.
Okay,
Yeah,
but we're talking about strikers.
So if that's the case, then we gotta fight. All of them are from forwards, then, because we got Giovanni.
Who?
He's a
what are you
winger.
talking about?
He's a winger.
They're not forwards.
Giovanni,
They're not forwards.
one, and Pote has 3.
No, they're forwards.
Plot is not a forward. Plot's not a forward.
I'm just saying, if we go by that, I agree. I don't think he's a forward either.
Well, you only have one striker. Sporada's not on the team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Thiago Tomas too.
So, Oh,
the
yes,
one
sir.
and the one that scored Giovanni that scored the first goal against Braga. I heard some experts in other channels saying that before the game that he shouldn't start.
Listen, if you want to go there real quick, I saw some of your friends post images from Hugo Gil da PT. Like that guy has to be the dumbest fucking person in the world. Posting
No, he's a
pictures,
pimp.
with the line stating that should have been offside because
Which
Paulinho was in an offside position when he had nothing to do with that fucking play.
yeah, well, that's you got stupid people all over the place.
I mean, so it's like exactly. I agree with you. Every team has them. So but when I saw that, I was like, I mean, this guy fucking Hugo Gil, like, I mean, Hugo Pinocchio Gil, what a fucking clown.
All right,
Makes a good living being a clown.
I know, it's crazy.
not a clown. He's a pimp.
Hey, listen, he's a pimp, but he's a registered pimp. Now you got brokey brokes that are in Algarve, in Albufeira, living it up in thousands of 10,000 euros vacations and getting plastic Botox while they're collecting welfare in Portugal.
What do you mean
Hey.
welfare? They sell jerseys, dude.
Yeah,
The family has a jersey business.
yeah.
And a
They
restaurant.
sell, they sell, but
gym,
not
and a
that
bar.
type of stuff. Not that type of stuff.
Alibaba.
Uh-huh.
Ali Makaka. All right, we're gonna move forward to Famalicão and Porto. Famalicão lined up with Junior, Panetra, Riscielli, Blatbuninski or something. Figueiras, Tavares, Pepe, Lima, Rodrigues, Jaime, and the other Rodrigues. For Porto was Costa, João Mário, Pep, Mbemba, Manafá, Otávio, Bruno Costa, Uribe, and Luis Diaz, Taremi, and Martinez. Listen, I think like I said, it was the tale of two halves. Porto played very well in the first half. They created a lot of chances, or two chances before the goal. They got the goal. Eventually, he got the second one. Porto looked totally in control. It didn't look like a Yves Vieira coach team. They were very disorganized, especially defensively. I was expecting them to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of the high press, because they do play a very high press system. They decided to counter, and also Porto was very well on attack, looking for the result. Second half, we just fell asleep. I think they got overconfident. Famalicão started to create some trouble. They started to believe. They got a goal, and then once they got a goal, Sergio Conceição and the team just didn't look well. And then I don't agree with some of the subs. I don't agree with the timing of the subs. I don't agree with certain guys that went in, and I don't agree with the bench. There's certain guys that could have been used in this particular situation. They were nowhere to be found other than the bancada, and Porto struggled. It was 2-1. It could have been 2-2. There was a offside call that was made, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, it looked onside." It looked onside, but so did the two goals that Porto scored a while back, 3 centimeters. So. And it was called offside. So it is what it is. I think you have to accept it. I don't think Vieira really contested much to 21 centimeters. I think he lamented more the fact that they woke up too late. You can't play one half of soccer. Porto was lucky to win. I will say that Porto was lucky to win. In terms of Vieira, they fell a little short. Like I said, as Porto got lucky that they won, Famalicão was a little unlucky that they didn't come away with any points. So at the end of the day, I thought it was a justified win based on the first half. The second half was pretty pitiful. George, anything to say or add to this?
I agree with that. I think when you're with these teams, Famalicão, not a scrubby team, right? Usually, with the
No,
with coach really well. So I think I think we all know, soccer people know that, the 2-0 it's the most dangerous score in soccer, because you relax, and the opposing team is just one goal away from pretty much, turning things around. And these in these type of games, when you don't put a team away, and when I mean put away, it's like really put them away with the 3-0 or 4-0 or whatever.
right.
You run the risk of
Getting scored on.
getting that 2-1, and then once you get the 2-1, a small team like this has nothing to lose, and they're gonna go and they're gonna attack, and Porto was very lucky that goal didn't count, because it was for a very small distance that the play was offside. It wasn't offside. It doesn't matter if it's 5 feet or once millimeter or whatever centimeter, whatever they use. If you're offside, you're offside. Period. So they were lucky. Looking at the bench, looking at the Porto team. To be honest with you, and I was actually listening to what's his name?
Sergio
The
Conceição.
the No, the Portista that's on CMTV, the captain for Porto for many years,
Rodolfo Reis.
Rodolfo Reis, and he said, you look at this Porto team, and there's not a lot that stands out from a name perspective. You know what I mean? It's like the team, every year it's getting worse and worse when it comes to names. And then when you look at the bench and you see a 15-17 million euro signing, and the guy is in the bench, a player that in Brazil was a
Considered one of the
I don't wanna
better
say-
players.
I don't want to say that he was a stud, but he's one of those players that marks the difference on the fields, definitely in Brazil. To keep him in the bench, and who'd you put in this place? I mean, yeah, you have Martinez that happened to have a really good game, but on paper, when you first start looking at names, Pepe is probably one of the players that you would think that he would start on this team. But again, Porto's Porto Conceição. He's been able to do miracles with the squad that he has. But I believe they're going to lose Corona, and the team. I don't know.
No,
You,
Nelson.
you have Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz. A lot of teams are after him. I don't think the Sergio Oliveira, drama is over yet. Maybe one of the reasons why he started in the bench and not on the starting 11, because I think we all agree that I think Sergio Oliveira has a spot in the starting 11, and for him not to start, I wonder if there's something that's being worked on, and the team doesn't want him to get injured now in these last days of the transfer window. So now they got Bruno's left back that signed today, but I still think that Porto needs something else.
Nelson, if you don't mind, let me just interject, because I heard George's comments, and there were some things that I feel like I have to touch on. So I'm just looking at the bench. Marquezine, who is now going to be operated. Ivan Marcano, which shouldn't even be on the team. I said it in the past on my Facebook, and I've said it in other Porto chats, or not chats, but in pages. I had a feeling that Porto was going to buy Fabio Cardoso to do one thing, and it was to not bench him, but to keep him completely off the field, and that's exactly what they did. He has not been on the bench. He's barely had any playing time in the preseason. I have a feeling that they just did that just to burn him for what he did to Romario Baró. They did that with Carrasco when he nailed Corona 2 years ago. Chico Conceição wasn't the guy to come in this particular game in the circumstances that they were in. I thought that maybe a Fabio Vieira would have been better, because he can hold on to the ball, and he can hit the counterattack and through balls. The guy that I do agree with you that should have came in was probably Pepe. Pepe would have came in for Tony Martinez, and Tony Martinez, and Luis Diaz would have moved as a striker next to Taremi. And I think that's probably would have. My guess is it would have worked better. I don't understand the Zaidu substitution at all, and I mean at all. I don't understand why Jesus Corona was on the bench if you weren't going to play him anyway. You're just burning a substitution or an option. Sergio Oliveira, you might have something. You might have something there, George, on your theory. Not a bad idea. I agree. Even Hilson coming in at 90 minutes, I don't understand that either. We had 5 substitutions. We only made 4, and I don't agree with some of them. And now we do have a left back, which I'll comment after Nelson. So Nelson, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, so I mean, pretty much what you said. Like Porto had a very good first half. Martinez scored again. He scored. That's both games. He scores now. You guys had a good first half, and second half not so good again. You allowed a goal. It was 2-1, and honestly, I still don't think he's offsides. But whatever they call it offsides, I don't think he is. I don't know how that goal is disallowed, but I mean, if technology is right, which I don't think it is, but if they say it is, whatever, I think the rule needs to be changed. I think I'm not saying there's got to be 3 meters, if it's within 3 meters, let it slide. I don't think that, but 5 inches, something like that, something's got to change. I mean, I don't know how that goal gets called offside. Other than that, one of my favorite players in Porto is Zaidu. I think the guy is pretty amazing. Every game he plays for both teams. Not every player can do that. So I think he's pretty impressive. But I'll be honest with you, Bruno. I don't think you guys got that good of a bench. I just don't think you do. First of all, maybe I'm the only one. I don't like Chico Conceição. I don't see anything special in this fucking player. I think he's weak. I just don't see anything special. Maybe can dribble here and there. I just don't see it. I don't think you guys got a strong bench. I know you just got Wendell. I think Wendell just signed today, right? If I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So that's good for you guys. I don't think you ever want to see Zaidu in that team again, if I'm not mistaken. I think you want him very far from the team. But easy first half, struggle second half, and to me, it should have been 2-2. I don't think that goal should have been disallowed.
So I disagree with you because the one guy that I think that could have also made a difference in this game and he wasn't even on the bench, was Vitinha. Vitinha knows how to hold on to the ball. He knows how to build. He knows how to find space. He can defend. He can attack. He can do a lot of different things. Creativity. He adds a lot of creativity to a midfield, and this guy has not been an option. He had a tremendous U21 tournament. That to me makes me believe that they're going to sell him. In all honesty, I think that they're going to be last day transfer window, and this guy is going to be gone, and it's probably going to piss off majority of the Portistas. That they're going to probably sell him for something around 20 to 25 million euros. When if they actually played him and he was a consistent starter because he's got the quality to do it, he'd be going for double, triple that amount. So I think that's a mistake. I don't understand why they don't play him, and I never will. And again, I'll as for Zaidu, is he ever going to play again? I doubt it. But then again, let's talk a little bit about the blow up on the sideline. I'll start with you, Nelson. What was your honest interpretation of that blow up? Do you think it was Sergio Conceição complaining that he wanted a left back? Or was it Sergio Conceição complaining that he was recommended to make that sub to be put in?
I don't know. I mean, we all know Sergio Conceição doesn't like to complain about much. We know he likes to stay quiet and not fight with anybody, not argue with anybody. So that was a little weird. I just think he wanted a left back. Personally, I think that's what it is. He just wants a left back. You couldn't watch any more of that at all. He just wants a left back.
George, same question.
No, not if you mute it. We don't lip read over here.
I said that I actually missed that part. What was he? He was yelling at the dwarf.
No.
Yelling at the dwarf.
Luis Gonçalves.
Vês como tu sabes que é que eu estou a falar.
He was yelling at him. Yes.
He was?
Hmm?
Dude, I as much as Sérgio Conceição has of good, ele só tem um feitiço fudido, man. He's just horrible when it comes to things like that.
But horrible in what sense?
Because it's things that should be taken care of in a house, not in a televised game, dude.
Well, he's in. Listen.
Forget the other stuff. Forget the stuff about every time he loses or he ties that he wants to hit everybody and their mother. Forget that part. But like something like this, that's something internal. You don't put that live of for everybody to.
George,
I don't know.
hold on a second, George. Remember, you just said that when he ties or when he loses. At that time, when that happened, it was when they, everyone thought that the goal was going to be validated.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But you're on the field still with people there and a live TV camera.
That never stopped him before.
It's emotional.
I know.
It's an emotional game, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on him to win, right? And he had a reaction. I don't fault him for the reaction. I want to know, has he been requesting a left back and they haven't gotten him one? Was it one that they're like, look, you asked for that guy last year. You need to play him because you asked for him, not us. You did it. Or was it, hey, by the way, we just bought you a left back. His name is Zaidu. You got to figure it out and you got to play him. Or was it, hey, you need to start playing this guy because he's got a certain amount of clauses in his contract that if he makes appearances, someone upstairs gets a commission check out of it. So you got to start playing him. So I don't know where it falls, but it is a very strange situation. Do I agree with Nelson that he will not play again? I think we will not see him again. I think he'll be on the roster, but I don't think he's going to be playing league games, let's just say, or Champions League games.
He looks as good as Grimaldo did against PSV. Exactly the same thing.
That guy that Grimaldo was playing against. That guy's a stud.
That's what I'm saying. I think. Oh man, I would not. I cover my head at halftime with a bag so nobody would recognize me.
All right.
Put that.
I do want to respond to Brian Neto because he did a question. Bruno, how do you feel about the new signing? Listen, he's the typical Brazilian fullback, right? He's very good technically. He can go forward. He can shoot. He can pass. He can cross. And that's the first thing that I analyze on this player is that can he cross? Yes, he can cross. If he can cross, he's already better than Manafá and Zaidu by a long shot. By a long shot. So I think he's going to add some quality. We're going to be attacking majority of the time anyway. So I think it's going to be pretty good. Now defensively, that's a different story. Sergio Conceição is going to have to work with him defensively because I'm one of those guys that I believe that if he was good, Leverkusen wouldn't let him go. He's 28 years old, so this is probably the last opportunity to offload a salary and probably promote probably a younger players either through the academy or through some team that they saw. And that's how the German system works. They don't sit around, dealing with 28-year-olds for very long unless they're really big studs. Nelson, any questions or any comments on Wendell?
No, I agree with you. I always say the same thing. If they that great, why do they come from Germany to Portugal? Benfica paid 22 for Weigl, and then they use that money to go buy Haaland. So it's just like I agree. I don't think German teams they usually make very good decisions. So I don't think they sell great players for that, to
For
other
cheap.
countries for cheap.
$3 to $4 million.
At the same time, I'm not saying that he's not good enough for Portugal. He might be good enough for Portugal. You know what I mean? Maybe not good enough for Germany, but probably more than good for Portugal. It's a completely different league. So,
Nelson. George, any questions on that? On that sign?
No, I mean, I know that Benfica was after. Looks like Benfica was after the player as well. I don't know why on the left side. I mean, I don't think we would need somebody on the left side unless you're selling Grimaldo.
or you think Grimaldo is good enough?
Grimaldo, he's been good enough.
Okay, please let him stay.
You
You
want
don't
him
thi-
to stay? You want him to stay?
What do you mean?
Grimaldo?
Grimaldo?
I do.
I don't mind having Grimaldo on the left side,
Me neither.
especially if we're playing with three center backs. I think he can attack a little bit more.
He better be able to attack a little more because he can definitely not defend. So I mean, if he doesn't attack and he can't defend, what's the point?
What do you base that? Are you basing that against in a game against PSV?
No, even last
Because-
year, he had a horrible game.
No.
The guy cannot
No.
defend. He's way better going forward than it is at defending, and you cannot
Well,
deny that. I mean,
of course he is. Yeah, he is. He's better at attacking than defending.
okay, but,
But,
his position is
but he's-
defending. So wouldn't you want him to be better at defending than attacking? Like,
No, I mean, look, what's Marcelo from Real Madrid? What was Roberto Carlos?
I mean, but listen, don't even compare. Those guys could run for 90 minutes, up and back, nonstop.
And when Roberto Carlos was playing for Real Madrid, 80% of the goals against Real Madrid, what side did it come from?
I'm gonna watch them all after the show tonight,
Sure.
and I'll let you know. All right.
And you're not gonna see more than the actual goals because of a player called Makalele that saved his butt a lot of times. But that's como é que se diz os defesas, os jalas agora deste tempo, they're like that. They're more. Coaches are looking for more attacking
I agree.
potential than actually defending.
We got the same as Sporting.
What's Nuno Mendes? Nuno Mendes.
But
Nuno Mendes is what?
Nuno Mendes can defend.
Nuno Mendes is 18, 19 years old.
Nuno Mendes can defend. But Paul
Grimaldo's got 10 years.
Paul is more of an attacking, right back. I agree. I still think he's better than Grimaldo, but yes. All right. Next.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep going. So Benfica played PSV first leg. Benfica won 2-1. Now, just keep just a reminder for people: the away goals rule is no longer in effect in UEFA. George, 2-1 win. You could talk about the game, but you're also going to talk about the away goals rule. Do you think this is a benefit or not for Benfica in this particular case?
Look, obviously it's a benefit for Benfica, for any team that suffers home goals. I don't like the ruling. I think you're taking a lot away from what we know as soccer. There's just way too many changes to the game, and this one, I don't know why the hell you would make a change like this, but yeah, of course I like it. We suffered a goal at home. So instead of a 1-0 PSV win in Holland last year would have, with last year's rules would make PSV automatically go through. If for whatever reason PSV wins 1-0, we have to go into overtime. So it's obviously I like that, but I just don't like the overall rule change. As far as the game, look, I think just a reminder, PSV is, I think, what game of the season are they in Holland already? They're ahead of Portugal already a little bit.
Like 3 games, 3-4 games max.
Yeah, I think they're about 3 games.
Yeah.
So like they're going to the 4th game, I believe, right?
Okay, so
I'll
one
tell you in a
extra-
second.
So in this stage of a season, 2 weeks is makes a
One
difference.
game. They're in one
One
game.
game, okay. But I look at first half. Benfica dominated the game. Benfica dominated the game. PSV did have more ball possession, but more ball possession because Benfica wanted them to have more ball possession. There was a goal against a goal in favor of PSV that was disallowed. I think it was well disallowed. I think contrary to George Jesus. I don't know what freaking game he was looking at, but Vlaco Dimos had an awesome game. Took out a lot of defended a lot of good shots by PSV. But I think the first half we totally dominated. Second half we lost our physical condition. We just attacked so much in the first half that the second half we came out a little flat. And but even though the PSV goal was it was to me it was a fluke. I think they deserved the goal already, but from what they were attacking, the amount of attacks that they had. But it was
It was a good shot.
it was it was a shot that deflected in the Mendy. So and that's that little deflection is what took the ball out of the reach of Lacodimus. But even though even afterwards, towards the second half of the second half, I still think we dominated and But listen, I think it's a good PSV. This was their first loss of the season. Just a reminder. Last week or so, they beat Ajax 4-0. For the
Was it 5?
5-0?
Four.
I thought it was 4.
4-0.
I thought it was 4-0.
It was 4-0?
Yeah.
They beat Ajax in the cup final. So I think it was a good game for Benfica.
George. Nelson. How about you? What was your opinion on the PSV result? You think it's going to be complicated for Benfica in Holland?
All right. So first about the rule change, I like it and I don't. And I'll tell you why. Like if a team loses 5-1, and then the next game they win 4-0, to me, losing 5-1 4-0 to me it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like it really doesn't make a difference. But when it's 2-1, now it makes a difference. But you can't do that. You cannot pick and choose what scores you make sense for the rule and what scores doesn't. So to me, I wish they kept the rule alive. But I know why they did it. And listen, Sporting has been eliminated a bunch of times. I remember like we lost to Barcelona 1-0 once on the road, and then we were winning 2-0 at home, and then Barcelona scored a goal. We won 2-1, and we got eliminated. So the rule, when it hurts you, sucks. But at the same time, I guess I could live with, either way. But I know why they did it. They want more games to go to overtime. They want more penalty shootouts. They want more money. That's all it is in the end. Simple as that. As far as the game goes, I don't agree with George saying Benfica dominated the game in the first half. I think Benfica got patches of domination. Benfica started off really good. I think they had the first 15 minutes really good. I think PSV took control of the game from there. And then last 5 to 8 minutes of the first half, Benfica finally started going up again. Second half, I mean, I don't know if this was Jesus' plan. Like, I think Benfica was just back a lot. Tons of horrible passes, tons of bad passes. Like, Benfica, there was periods in the game that Benfica couldn't keep the ball in their possession for 10 seconds. Like, they would have the ball and just lose the ball right away. Like PSV was just, like, on top of them. Pressure. I think if the score, if it was a tie, I think it would have been fair. I think Vlado Chimos had a good game, like George Jesus said. I think the PSV coach did a horrible substitution, putting in Bruma and taking out that kid. I think that kid could have lasted the entire game, and every time that kid touched the ball, it was a problem. Grimaldo had a horrible game. João Mari finally played like the João Mari from Inter Milan, showing that he fucking sucks, and everybody's nuts when they think he's good. Joe Mari's going to be great. He showed his true colors. Joe Mari's going to be great against these shit teams that he's got to hold the ball. And every time he plays a little better team, he's going to struggle. That's who he is. That's what. If he was that good, Inter would have never have him on the bench all those games like they did. And listen, I think it's going to be a very tough game for Benfica on the road. Very tough. There's going to be a lot of people in the stands. The Dutch love their soccer. And I think they got a good team. Even though they lost their best player, even though they sold their best player.
Their best striker, yeah.
I think they got a very, very good team. They pressure it. They pressure a lot. They pressure a
They
lot.
play really good.
They play really good. They fast.
They got an awesome striker. There's the Xavi. He's a good player. The kid on
they don't hold the ball. They don't hold the ball.
Yeah.
They keep the ball moving.
very fast players.
So I think their only weakness is they play forward so much that sometimes they leave gaps in the back, and that's how Benfica got their goals. Simple as that.
Yeah. I think that's our way to win.
And I
So
think
we have
that's-
very fast on the counterattack.
Honestly, and I think that's the way Benfica has to do in the second game again. Benfica has to counter, hope take advantage of those spaces that they leave at the back when they all going forward like it's a war. But I think it's going to be tough. I think I think it can go either way. I hope he only goes one way, but I think it can go either way.
And Nelson, since you're a good Portuguese fan, and you always like to root for the Portuguese, you're going to be rooting for Bruma, I'm assuming.
Of course,
Absolutely.
Okay,
I mean, he started as Sporting. He's a trader. I mean, I definitely love the guy. I'm rooting for him.
Got it. Okay, very good. I would just wanted to confirm. That's all I wanted. George, are you a little concerned that if Benfica is forced back and PSV starts moving the ball around, you are going to have a lot of defensive struggles?
No, I like the defense.
You're confident.
Yeah, I'm confident. I like the defense. Oh, by the way, I thought the young man had a really good game too. Murato, taking the place of Vertonghen in the back. But look, I think our keys to win. Look, I think Gonçalo Ramos has to start. I think Rafa has to start. I think those fast. I would probably even put
Mota. You should put Mota in the starting lineup.
Yeah. Mota, Verissimo, all of them. I would maybe even push Grimaldo to the middle, instead of in the back.
And when you say the middle, like you mean the middle of the bench or like the middle of the field?
Yeah, you wish.
I'm just
What
asking.
you wish.
Like I don't know.
Well, that's why they want a Wendell.
I know.
That's why they want a Wendell.
O Sporting já teve Wendell, não deu certo.
O menino.
Já tiveram muitos e não dá certo.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. I agree.
Well,
but look, PSV is a scary team.
Very scary. Very good team.
These
I think you have some problems.
they were, I was looking the other day. They're those Gotski, whatever his name is.
What?
Gotske. He's the player. He's the player that makes the most amount of money in that team, and I think he makes like 52,000 pounds a week. So it's a team that's like 21 million, and I think is the yearly budget for the team. And they got some good players in that team.
And it's crazy. Gatti has fallen, like he was a hero in the World Cup, scored the winning goal in the final, then pretty much fell off of the face of the earth. And
Face of the earth.
He's still a good player, man.
Well, he's had a knee injury. He's had I think not knee injury, muscles injuries in his legs. I think he has some type of issue with his muscles in his legs that this is not gonna. He's in form now, but he might drop off at any time. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries over the years. So, and just so you know, Nelson, it's not Gotze, it's Gothels. like the Goethals Bridge.
Like the Gothels Bridge.
Yeah. The
What are you
Goethals.
talking about? His name?
Oh,
That's
well,
how you say it?
yes, Cableta pronounce it Goethals.
Oh, Schkest. Schkest.
Nelson, real quick, I want to get your word on Paz Freire and Santa
This
Clara.
and the kid is only 29 years old, also, which
Yes, I
is
know.
just
We
crazy.
still have some
It's
soccer
crazy.
left.
All right. So
Go ahead, Santa Clara and Paz Freire.
okay.
Were you
So
happy with the result or not?
yeah, I mean, you got to be happy with the results. One team won 1-0. Santa Clara won 2-1. I know that second. Well, it doesn't matter anymore, but still, they won 2-1.
Uh-huh.
Now, touching real quick on the Paz Ferreira game. Listen, Spirit Sun came to Portugal with third string guys, most of them, which showed no respect for Paz Ferreira at all. Like either he didn't show respect for Paz Ferreira or he just doesn't give a shit about this competition. One of the two. To me, it was a lack of respect. He didn't care. He didn't care about the game. He definitely didn't respect the Paz Ferreira. Now, at the same time, this just goes to show you guys. I say they came with a third string team, but they still had players on the field that cost $20 million, which once again shows that these British teams are willing to spend tons of money on garbage players if they play in England. But then they want to come to Portugal and get proven players and pay the same 20 million. That's why I hope they never win a Euro, a World Cup. They suck. And this just showed. They lost to Paz Ferreira. Probably everybody in that team makes more money than the entire team of Paz Ferreira together, even though it was their third strings. But at the same time, if they do play with a full lineup, when Passos goes over there, they'll pop 5 or 6 in the net, and it's night.
I have a question for you, Nelson.
Sure.
Do you think that if Paz Freire does their typical, let's park the bus at a White Hart Lane, Tottenham is going to have a hard time breaking through their back line and scoring?
They can for a little bit, but I still think they'll pop 3, 4, 5. I don't think there's. It all depends on the lineup. But if he does play with most of his guys, I don't care if they put all 11 in cima da linha. They'll find a way to score.
George, do you agree or disagree?
Look, I think it was a great score. It's probably
An historical
an historical win for Paz Ferreira. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's where it ends. I think when they go to England, it's gonna be all done. I hope not. I hope Paz Ferreira is able to, like you said, park the bus and then on the counter attack score maybe another goal or so and import a little bit of pressure. But that would be, I think it will be short of a miracle if Paz is able to get out of England with the qualification.
I'll tell you
a little bit more realistic for Santa Clara.
I'll tell you this much: their striker looks to be pretty good. Paz Freire.
Paz Freire,
the one that scored.
Yeah, he's already scored in the league, and just watch him play. He's a pretty good player. I don't know where he came from, but he's not bad at all. He's not bad at all.
Who is he?
I think it's Danielson. But he's a pretty good player. Right? He's very crafty. He's very technical. He can shoot from distance. He's not bad at all. But Paz Freire did take a beating on their losses of the team, and I'm not a big fan of Jorge Paixão at all. I think Jorge Paixão, Nelson, is more red than George. 5 times over.
Then you already know what's going to happen twice this season. You already know. 6
points, Lano.
Now, real quick on Santa Clara, that guy, what the hell is his name? Carlos, which is the forward that scored again.
Carlos Jr.
Yeah, I think Benfica made a big mistake when they went to the islands to get a forward. I think that's the guy they should have got. Because has the other guy even played yet? Pino, or he hasn't even played, right?
He played. He got hurt. He got injured. He got a surgery.
Well, so the guy hasn't played since when? It's been a while since.
But it's okay. It's okay. He's 30 years old and he's got a 5-year contract, so he's good.
The end of last year.
30 years old, 5-year contract. Yeah, he's good. I do like this guy, Carlos Jr. Like this guy keeps scoring, man. Like he scored today, he assisted. I mean, I'll tell you one thing: if Santa Clara ever loses this guy, they done. I think he's their main player by far. Last year, he was his the main player by far.
No, it was the other guy that got sold to Japan or China.
Which guy?
He was a top goal scorer as well, and then in the January market they sold him, and then this guy started scoring.
Then this guy starts scoring. Yeah. So I do think if they lose this guy, I think they done. Like this guy's a big key for Santa Clara. Now at the same time, like
Lincoln is pretty good too. He's just lazy.
Do these guys, do these teams really want to go to the next stage of this competition? Like, can they really afford like be flying back and forth? And I mean,
they can afford it.
You think so?
Yeah, because they'll get it sponsored.
Okay, all right. If they do that, then okay. Because I mean,
hey, we got a banker here. He gives out loans for nothing.
But at the same time, like, do you think the big teams want to be part of this?
Tottenham, no.
I don't
think that this is more of an inconvenience for them than anything else.
I agree.
And that proved he proved it with his lineup. He showed no respect for Paz Ferreira.
None whatsoever.
Like none. I don't think George? Did he have one starter at all? Like just one?
I don't think so. No. Because even that guy Celzinho or whatever, he's not a starter. No.
Celso.
Lo Celso.
But I don't think he started on the weekend.
He starts sometimes. Sometimes he starts.
And Lamela, I think Lamela came in, right?
Lamela's okay.
Lamela,
yeah.
The Argentine?
No. Lamela was sold. Lamela was sold to.
No, hold on.
Sold to Spain.
Let me check this. Hold on.
I believe he was sold to Spain, maybe Sevilla or something like that. I think.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
Well, I'll tell you while you guys look for it. Danielson came from Atlético Mineiro.
No, he didn't come from Atlético Mineiro. He did his youth at Fluminense. He played for Atlético Mineiro, but before that, he played for São Paulo and for 3 years or something like that. And he was actually some team in Jarabias.
Al Dafra.
Yeah.
Al Dafra.
Listen, I can't keep up with this competitions. I looked at live score today, and there was 50 games on. There was two competitions. Let me see what the hell they were. Hold on. It was
UEFA Cup and Conference League.
Yeah, there you go. Europa League qualification and Conference League, whatever. There was 50 games. Between this 100 teams, I think 80 of them I never even heard of. Like it's just like, I mean, for that, just put everybody there. Let them all fucking play. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would Tottenham want to play this shit when they got to worry about the League Cup, the FA Cup, o Campeonato? Listen, if you told Spirit Sun right now, you're going to finish in the top 5 in England, you're going to finish in the top 5 in the England Campeonato, but you got to drop off this competition right now, would you take it? Fuck it, you'll sign up for that right now. Because that guarantees Champions League next year. These teams don't want to play this shit.
You're not lying. All right, we're gonna move forward. You guys want to talk about any other transfers, or there really isn't any after that?
No, there is. I think isn't Benfica getting that guy Lazaro so they can play for João Mario?
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah.
Lazaro,
yeah. I think they're getting some Lazaro so they can pay for João Mario.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was in the papers this week.
So FIFA yesterday, actually there was a ruling where they actually confirmed that anti-rival clauses are
now legal, right?
That's going to be a big
hot topic. It is.
Because you have one side of the spectrum that says they're illegal, and then FIFA says that they're legal. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So based on that ruling, now I think Sporting is taking João Mario to court. You know, So
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, he's not gonna take. They're not
Is it-
taking. They're not taking him to court. They're taking Inter to court.
enter the court, yeah.
Is it grandfathered in though, or is it applied?
Now, maybe, right?
I'm not sure. That's the question.
I'm not sure either.
All right. Tomorrow we have round 3 of 34 rounds. Aruca, Famalicão, Moreirense, Braga. Hopefully Brian Neto gets a win for his Moreirense because he's been active today. Sorry, Dave Pereira, but I like to rip on Braga. Nothing against you because you're a good guy, but your president, I can't stand your president. Gil Vicente Benfica. Tough game for you, George. Gil Vicente is one of those teams that are up there. They got 2 wins. What do you
Another very difficult field
Very difficult.
in the middle of a Champions League playoff. You know, obviously after the PSV game,
Right.
we're going to have to make a lot of lineup changes. So I think it's going to be. I think it could potentially be a very difficult game.
What do you think the final score is going to be in this one? Dropping points? You sound like you're about to say that you need to be dropping some points.
A very close 1-0 for Benfica.
Mr. Nelson Litra.
Listen, I always love when Gil Vicente plays against Benfica. It's the game. It's one of those games like Galo versus Galinhas. I love those games. I think this is the first game the Benfica loses points. I think it'll be a tie, 1-1.
I'm actually going to be I'm going to actually join you on that one, Nelson, but I'm going to say 0-0.
Okay.
I'm going to say 0-0. All right, Sporting Bolonense, the Lisbon derby, or one of the 2 Lisbon derbies, or 3 Lisbon derbies. What do you got there, Nelson, for this one?
Another easy peasy win for the undefeated, undisputed champions of the world, 2-0 Sporting.
Okay, Mr. George.
1-1.
I would say that I would agree with you, George, if this was in the middle of the season, but not right now. That team is not ready to park the bus yet and learn the Petit ways. I think this one is going to be this one's going to be a laugher. It's going to be 4-0. But I see where you were going with it. All right, Tondela Portimonense, and then a very difficult game, Marítimo Porto. If Porto wins, it's going to be 1-0 arrastre at Marítimo. George.
Marítimo's playing good too. Had a good game this weekend. No, I think Porto wins. I think Porto wins 2-0.
2-0. Okay. Your words to God's ears. Nelson.
Which game was that? I'm sorry. I had a fly. I was killing a fly over here.
It's
Your favorite Marítimo.
Your second favorite team, Marítimo.
I guess who?
Porto.
Oh, I mean,
Against your favorite team.
that's a tough one. That's actually real tough because one of them I want to go down to the second division, and the other one I don't want to win the game. so I'm gonna say 1-1.
It's very possible. This one's going to be a tough one, I believe.
Is Zaidu playing?
Olha, tá ali a mosca Zaidu. Vê lá se...
No, I got a big fucking fly with the fucking
É, a mosca Zaidu. Trata disso.
This fucking thing is like right on top of my Viagra pills.
Esse guy's out of control.
Guimarães, Vizela, Paços Ferreira, Estoril, and Boa Vista, Santa Clara round out the rest of round 3. That's pretty much it. We're going to be back next week. We're going to be here to talk about the rest of the European action and obviously round 3. We'll see who drops points first this week. I think this is the week that at least one of the big three drop points. But before we go, we do have a question for Nelson. Perguntar o Nelson se ele se lembra do caso de Bruni Fernandes, quando o Sampdoria tinha direito a 10% e o Sporting deu nada porque disse que ele tinha já assinado outro contrato. Só depois da luta de Alcochete ele rescinde e depois assinou.
Okay, so the first line right there says, perguntaram Nelson se ele se lembra, right? Não lembro. Não lembro.
Okay, so you don't remember. Now,
Nope.
what about the rest of the question?
Oh, let me see the rest of the question again.
The rest of the question is the 10%, he rescinded it, he signed a new contract, you don't have to pay it.
Man, eu nem sei se a gente ainda pagou o Amorim, quanto mais. Não sei se a gente pagou o Amorim, não sei se a gente pagou o Paulinho. A gente não paga ninguém, cara. Deixa andar. O povo
This is
paga.
true.
So
This is true.
just let it be. Don't worry
Look.
about it.
I think Sporting's going to have a very difficult time getting any sort of money, because remember, Sporting offered Inter Milan 3 million, I believe that's what they offered, but João Mario wasn't willing to sign it. So it doesn't matter how much Sporting would have offered. João Mario wasn't going to sign with Sporting. So if João Mario says, I'm not going to Sporting, and Sporting is the only offer on the table, Inter was forced to let him go and save himself, I think maybe 4 million or something like that, 5 million a year. So there's really nothing that Sporting has on that because of the fact that the player wasn't willing to sign for the team. Now, if you have an instance where João Mario had agreed to terms with Sporting and Inter wasn't willing to negotiate with Sporting, but was willing to negotiate with Benfica, then that's different. But the player came out and said that he was pissed at Sporting because Sporting was trying to lowball him, and that he wasn't going to sign. So I don't think Sporting really can do anything about the fact that Inter, instead of Inter having a player that wasn't going to be playing for them and have to pay them 5-6 million, that they just let him go. I agree. I think 100% Benfica is going to buy a player from Inter, and it's going to give them the amount of money that they both agreed on. But I from a legal standpoint, I don't think there's anything that Sporting can do.
Here's what I think Benfica is doing wrong. Why put yourself in that position? Why go and buy a player from them?
Because Benfica cannot lose. Benfica is the third party. The contract was between Sporting and Inter.
But I got a feeling that's going to open up more kind of worms that they probably don't want. That's
Benfica is not part of the contract. Look at your boy. Look at your boy Rafael Leão. Rafael Leão, he left. He signed for, I believe, who was it? Lille or Nice or something like that when he first went to France. Yeah. Lille when he first went to France, and he was transferred over to Milan, and then the ruling said that no, you owe the money because you're ending the contract was illegal, and nobody's going after the teams that signed them. It's him personally.
Yeah,
so
I get it, but I think this is a little different. Oh, by the way, there's one more game for us to pick before the next show. Yeah, we got to pick PSV Benfica. They play this week. They play Wednesday, right. Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday.
And we have Paços Ferreira, Tottenham, and Santa Clara and Partizan. We'll pick them all. All right, so since you brought that up, George, PSV Benfica, what is that expectation?
2-2.
Ooh, okay. How about you, Nelson?
3-1.
3-1 for PSV?
I hate to do this because you know how much I root for Benfica all the time, but I say 3-1 PSV.
3-1 means that it goes into extra time, doofus.
No. How does it mean it goes into extra
No, it
time?
doesn't. No, it doesn't. 3-1. Esquece.
Doofus.
Esquece, Dufas. Esquece. Minha matemática, não sei como é que. I'm in the wrong profession.
Guys, if you want a loan, that's your guy right there.
We ask for 100, we get 300.
Yeah, that's it.
3-1.
I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, and it's gonna be PSV 4, Benfica 2.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Listen, that's just how I think. The way both teams played, and with the crowd and everything, PSV is gonna go for the kill, and then they don't stop. That's the problem. Is they don't stop. They keep themselves open. They don't know how to contain, and that's where Benfica is gonna get some goals. But maybe it's just not enough. I don't know. I think Vlaco Duma is gonna be very busy though. I'll say that. Partizan Santa Clara, my friend Nelson.
1-1.
So that means Santa Clara will go through.
Yes.
Okay. George,
2-0. Santa Clara.
away?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna say 0-0. 0-0.
Drinking early, further.
Tottenham Pas Freire. Nelson.
Vitamin water.
Oh man, depends on the lineup. Don't get me wrong, I would love nothing more than see Passos get the English out of there. Like I don't want to see any English team in the European competitions. But I think Tottenham 5, Passos 0.
Damn. That was a bomb on the show. How about you, George?
3-0 Tottenham.
I'm thinking it's gonna be like 2-0. 2-0 for Tottenham. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to cover before we end the show?
No, I think that's it. Unless anybody that's watching has some questions for us.
Let's see the questions.
Let's see. One girl here is asking, how much Viagra do you take, Nelson?
Show me a picture of her. Depends.
I'll send you a photo.
If they hot, 0. If they busted, 2-3 a night. And a sporting flag over their heads.
And then,
Oh my god.
over their head or over their face?
Over their face.
Oh, okay, got it.
Puro Moro Club.
Man. Well, it doesn't seem like there's any more questions, and I'll send you the photo in a little bit.
Thank you.
In the meantime, guys, make sure that you hit subscribe, hit like, tell your friends, and come with questions, because that's what we want. We want you guys to be a little bit more active. For everyone that joined us, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the show. Talk to you later.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.
All right, Nelson.
That was
Hold
fun.
on.